we are about fun and we're about intelligent gambling. And personally, I have fun through intelligent gambling, but the idea of, oh, I'm just going to play 000 roulette. And I even saw a layout that had 4 zeros on it as it seemed to be a bonus round. It can always get worse, but we're teaching you how to gamble smarter and gamble better.
Quad zero roulette. That sounds like so I think that gets us to the mental part of gambling. And I think everyone struggles with that, right? You have a down session. I think there's a couple things to remember. One, there is a house edge. You should expect to walk out of the casino, or if you're playing online, close your session having lost money. That is exactly what we would expect. Depending on what game you're playing and how well you're playing it, again, optimal strategy gives you some idea of what your expectation should be, again, over the long term, not in that individual session in which there is wide variation, right? The reason people love to play those games is because the variation also swings in your favor sometimes. And so you can have, I think you said recently, right? You've been on a great winning streak. And that's in part due to you adhering to optimal strategy on blackjack and the luck that's involved sometimes with that. And people, I think, need to be prepared for that mentally, so that the worst outcome would be, hey, I'm checking my strategy. I have maybe a chart in front of me if I'm in the casino of blackjack, or I have the Wizard of Odds optimal strategy up while I'm also playing, and I'm checking every decision to make sure I'm playing optimal strategy, and I'm down 10%, some big number. And that's happened to me. I think it's probably happened to you on a single session. And to give up then loses the opportunity to have regression to the mean of what we'd expect in that game. Now, there's also people probably listening to that to say, you can't keep throwing money in if you're losing, right? Like, you shouldn't chase, and you also should be aware of the math behind how gambling and specifically these games work, what your expected outcome is or should be. And you and I both track our play to make sure that we're close to that. And if not, we need to make sure that, again, we're following optimal strategy, making sure we're making the best decisions and moving along.
Yes, you need a big sample size and accurate tracking to have confidence in your play. If you're just going to look at what happened this day, this week, this month, potentially even several months, even some of the best poker players in the world, Daniel Negreanu, has said, I've gone on downswings in poker tournaments. I've lost money here or there. It happens, but you need the big sample size in order to get close to that expectation. And in video poker, in Jacks or Better video poker anyway, the royal flush is a big part of the payout. I think about 2% of that payout. And the royal flush happens only once every 40,000 hands. And you could be under-royaled for certain cycles. So I would look at video poker as a tool to earn the status, not as just something to go in to plop down on a non-tier credit, non-reward multiplier day and just trying to chase that jackpot of the royal flush. As you said, you have a game plan of, I'm going to go in on these certain days when the multipliers run. I'm going to play towards status, and that's it. And even waiting for these promos to come. So it really wouldn't make sense to me to ever sit down and play video poker during a non-promo period in the month of April, for instance, because I'll be earning tier throughout that year, and then look to evaluate in October, November, December when I want to play these tier multiplier promotions. Now, we could try to predict the future, and if we're going to a bigger goal like Diamond Plus, Diamond Elite, or even 7 stars, then maybe we'd want to play those multiplier days more often. But I can't see just sitting on the square, let's say, and just playing when there's no promotion involved, because then you're just taking mostly the full house edge, but these promotions are giving us an opportunity to have better expectation.